Okay, how's everyone doing tonight? OTAP here, EPLURIBUSOTAP. I am America, and you can be too, out of many me. And we have Lucy Desi Lucy the Desi Doxy is joining us tonight. As cute and as sweet and as wonderful as she can be. Oh, how are you, Puppy G? All right. Daddy's going to talk about gun things now, baby. So you take a hop a squat there on your blankie, and we'll get after this. I don't know if anyone can see this. We have the trusty Glock drinking vessel here. Love this thing. It was one of the raffle prizes I won a couple months ago at one of the Glock Shooting Sports Foundation matches at Big Boys Guns and Ammo down the street in Mustang, Oklahoma. They always do a series of 3 monthly matches. You have to participate in at least 2 of the 3 to be eligible to win a free Glock handgun, and at the 3rd match, they always do the raffle for the handgun as well as various door prizes, and this is what I won that particular month. Oftentimes, Glock t-shirts, Big Boys t-shirts, GSSF shirts, hats. They give out Glock branded K-bar knives, all kinds of great things. So anyway, let's get after this. So what I wanted to talk about today is I had an appointment for a examination, a disability evaluation, if you will, for a VA claim for Veterans Affairs disability ratings. I had surgery on this shoulder about a year or so ago. See that awesome scar I have there. I had bone spurs and damaged rotator cuff and some other issues, and so they had to do a procedure in addition to cleaning that up, and they basically severed my biceps tendon and reconnected it in a different place after they went underneath to do their work. And so because of that, I have this awesome scar here. So anyway, I have not been rated by the VA for this as of yet. Finally put a claim in for it. Today was my day to go. They outsourced it to a third-party examination company, facility, if you will, VES, which stands for Veterans Evaluation Services. My understanding is that they are based out of Texas, which makes a lot of sense considering the peculiar thing I saw when I arrived at their offices today. Which is to say that on their door, wooden door, ADA compliant handle, large pane of glass, rectangular. At the top, they had their sign, VES, Veteran Services, Veteran Exams, and underneath, at the bottom, was a full-on Texas no handgun sign, a literal 3006 sign from Texas, which under Texas law is required to be posted at businesses that want to limit the carry of firearms on their premises. Since they moved to also having open carry in Texas, they also have what they call a 3007 sign. So 3006, it's 30.06, and then 30.07. These are the signs prohibiting concealed carry in the case of the .06, and then open carry .07. Now, first of all, in order for one of these signs in Texas, keep in mind this is in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where they posted a Texas sign. So, completely ignore the sign. But in order for it to be a legitimate sign, to be backed by the force of law in Texas, there are certain criteria that have to be met. Three big ones. And if all of these criteria are not met, all of the elements must be satisfied. It must have verbatim language. And they can't paraphrase, they can't leave a letter out, they can't misspell something. It has to be word for word, verbatim, posted conspicuously at the entrances in English and in Spanish. So if you have the English version and not in Spanish, doesn't count. Spanish, no English, doesn't count. And the letters must be 1 inch tall. So if it's a 2-inch letter, half an inch letter, again, doesn't count. But in Texas, with these sort of signs, if it is a legitimate sign, it's properly worded, it's posted properly, it's in English and in Spanish, the letters are the proper size, then this is absolutely backed by the force of law. If you ignore this sign, you are a criminal. Now, here in Oklahoma, it doesn't matter what a sign says, doesn't matter how big it is, doesn't matter what it looks like, doesn't matter how many languages it's in. Signs in Oklahoma are not backed by force of law. So I thought this was hilarious. So I took a picture of it, of course, and I even commented to the ladies behind the reception desk that, that even if we were in Texas, that would not be a legitimate sign. So again, in Oklahoma, signs are not backed by the force of law. A living human that represents the property, assuming we're talking about private property, not anything owned by the government. That's a whole different ball of wax. If it's private property, the owner or someone in control of the property or representative, they have to come to you physically and verbally ask you to leave. And by leave, I don't mean go away and never come back. It's leave in the sense of, here's your opportunity to go outside, leave the premises, secure your firearm however you wish to do so, and then come back without it. Now, if someone asks you to leave and you refuse to do so, at that point you're trespassing. That's when law enforcement gets involved. A crime has occurred at that point. It can be a bad day for you. So basically, in Oklahoma, signs are irrelevant. A place is either a statutorily prohibited location or it isn't. These are very important things to keep in mind. So after I finished with my appointment, they gave me a business card with the contact information. I have the name of the two receptionists and the nurse practitioner who did my exam. And I will be emailing them later to explain that they're wasting their time with this sign. It's a Texas sign. It has absolutely no standing here in Oklahoma. And, that's just how it is. Now, it's kind of another situation. When I posted about this on Facebook, a number of people commented on this, and basically my post was to say, "Hey, look, here's this sign. Can anyone name all the reasons why this sign is not legit, not backed by the force of law, both here and in Oklahoma?" So I've just outlined all of those reasons, and some of the things people said. There was a comment that in Texas, someone was advised to not carry their firearm in a hospital. And that is a very good point. Another difference between here in Oklahoma and in Texas. In Oklahoma, hospitals, not statutorily prohibited locations. Unless, of course, you're talking about, the government, like the VA hospital. And again, different ball of wax, federal property, federal government. That VA hospital in Oklahoma City, it's like Lesotho. It's surrounded by Oklahoma City. It's not in Oklahoma City, okay? You can't have guns there at all, period. Don't even think about it. Very bad. Not even in your car in the parking lot. But a normal private hospital in Oklahoma, not a statutorily prohibited location. But in Texas, the way the law works there with hospitals is pretty much the equivalent of what we do here in Oklahoma presently with college campuses or National Guard facilities. You're able to have it in the parking lot. Just don't get out of your car and take it into any buildings without written permission from the facility, the hospital in that case. I got a comment there. Oops, guess mine in my bag while in a Dallas hospital was an oversight. That's it. And I understand, these things do happen. I'm glad you weren't caught. Hey, that's why it's carry concealed. What they don't know can't hurt either of you. It's hard for them to ask you to leave if they don't know you have it. But again, in these places, if you don't know where you are and what the laws are pertaining to these areas, yeah, you could get in some serious trouble without intending to. So absolutely get the information. Do your own due diligence before traveling anywhere. Boom, right there. And exactly to my exactly. And when I say do your own due diligence, I mean that. Do it yourself. There are other resources out there. There are other people you can refer to. Handgun licensing instructors. Of course, Oklahoma Second Amendment Association is usually a very good resource. Again, whenever somebody tells you something, take it with a grain of salt. Follow up on your own. Even with being a member of an organization like U.S. Law Shield or CCW Safe, or they can potentially connect you to lawyers in various states wherever you might be traveling. They're again. What information are they going to give you? Get it from the horse's mouth. Go to the law book. If it's written in legalese and you can't decipher it, boom, go back to the lawyer, get some help there. And again, don't have them interpret it for you. Have them break it down, translate it, and always, always, always look at it from the strictest possible interpretation. That is absolutely the perspective that the police officers who will arrest you are going to be going by, and the prosecutors that want to send you to jail forever and ruin your lives, that's what they're going by. So don't look at it from, okay, well, maybe if I did this, or I didn't mean that, or maybe there's a loophole or an exception, or what my defense attorney might say after the fact once I'm already in trouble to try to get me off. No, don't get into that position in the first place. Do what you need to do to stay not arrested. So let's see, there's some other things here. Let's see. Somebody mentioned that they had seen a sign, another one of these Texas signs, at an AMC movie theater in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about here. This is some tricky stuff. Again, movie theaters in Oklahoma, not a statutorily prohibited location. Doesn't matter what signs they do or don't put on their doors or windows or stickers or billboards, or if they, get graffiti artists to spray paint and tag "no guns on the wall," doesn't matter. But here's the thing. I did some research on this particular AMC movie theater. It's the AMC South Roads 20 Theater, and here's the catch. That theater has a liquor license. So now it does kind of become a statutorily prohibited location because of the alcohol issue. Granted, Oklahoma Second Amendment Association right now, in this upcoming legislative session that will begin next Monday, February 3rd, working on legislation to decriminalize this, because right now, if someone were to go into that movie theater with any offensive weapon other than a handgun with a handgun license, felony, instantly, no ifs, ands, or buts. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. It doesn't matter if they ask you to leave or not. Done deal. Already committed a felony. Fine up to $1,000. Jail time. Not jail time. Prison time up to 2 years. So this is a very important thing. OK2A President Don Spencer, lately his mantra has been the phrase situational awareness. I'm a fan of that from my military background. Situational awareness, very important. You need to know what's going on around you, where you are, and whether or not you really can or cannot carry there. Now, most people in Oklahoma not necessarily expecting a movie theater of all places to have a liquor license, to be, as the law says, licensed to distribute alcohol to the public. How do we know? How do we know whether or not a place is so licensed? My advice: Oklahoma ABLE Commission, ABLE, Alcoholic Beverage Law Enforcement. Go there, do a search. There are 2 spreadsheets that they maintain and update on a monthly basis. Basically, between those 2 spreadsheets, it's going to list every business establishment in the state of Oklahoma that has a liquor license. This is how you are forewarned and forearmed, folks. It will tell you exactly. And if you have any ambiguity because of a location of where something might be, whether something is co-located, sometimes you'll have a facility or a restaurant or another establishment where, you have one building, one roof, but multiple establishments under the same roof at the same address, but they're separate establishments. One has a liquor license, the other doesn't. You can bounce this off of the Secretary of State's website, which lists everything that has a business license. So you match those up, you're absolutely certain where you are, what you can and can't do, proceed from there. Okay, so with that being said, we have an event coming up for any of you out in, let's see where we can find this. Enola, Oklahoma. And what is it? Wagner County? Rogers County. So I'm going to bring up the Facebook page of the Rogers County Sheriff's Office. They had posted this. I just saw it tonight. Apparently it's been up since the 20th of this month, and they have a flyer that they put up on the Wednesday? Is that today or Wednesday of last week? I'm assuming. So anyway, free seminar Thursday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. I would say 6 p.m. Show up. Creating a safe and legal environment in an open carry world. Of course, open carry being a bit of a misnomer. They use the example of saying the new open carry laws in Oklahoma in reference to what happened at the November 1st of 2019. It's permitless carry or constitutional carry, as many people like to call it. It is not an open carry thing. Open carry has been on the books as part of the Oklahoma Self-Defense Act for a number of years now. So this is nothing new. But they have some blurbs here. They're actually going to be selling, let's see here. We have a comment here. Lawton Central Mall entrances now have no guns allowed signs, but if you go through the mall through JCPenney store, they have no such decal on their entrance doors. All right, well, that's a good point. All right, again, it's kind of like, say, Penn Square Mall here in Oklahoma City, which has been in the news very often lately. We've had 2 shootings there, or firearms discharges, in the last month. And you're looking at one structure, one roof over all these things. We have all these separate entities. Certain stores, let's just use Dillard's for an example, gun friendly. They don't care. The mall itself, they do care. But then again, the mall security, they're not armed guards. So, think about that. If you're at the Central Mall in Lawton, Oklahoma, again, it doesn't matter if there's a sign there or not. The worst they can do is ask you to leave. I do believe Central Mall in Lawton does still have El Chico, the Mexican restaurant. There's a bar in there. They serve alcohol. So keep that in mind. But, just ignore the signs. They are not backed by force of law. If there's no sign on JCPenney, oh my goodness, what are you worried about? So, take that with a grain of salt. But at this thing with the Rogers County Sheriff's Department, I did say that, right? Rogers County? Yeah. They are going to be selling no gun signs for $5 each for businesses, churches, places of worship that would like to have one. And it's funny, they use the phrase here, attendees will also have the option to purchase a 4x5.5 two-sided vinyl window or door decal for properly posting that either open carry or all firearms are prohibited in that establishment, and reference proper Oklahoma laws enforcing this policy at the bottom. Again, there's no such thing as proper posting in Oklahoma. And it doesn't matter what laws you reference on your sign, again, not backed by the force of law. So I don't know if the sheriff's department needs a fundraiser. Maybe they should do a bake sale and not necessarily try to sell these $5 signs to people that, would just take up space on people's walls. But, that's one of the things they're doing. So that's about all I've got for tonight. If you're in Oklahoma, go to the OSBI website. There's a link there for the actual Self-Defense Act law book. Google it, or whatever web search engine you use. Those Microsoft folks that like binging. Is that a verb? Binging? Googling's a verb, so why not binging? So go to the OSBI. Just do a search for OK SDA law book. It'll take you there. It'll give you the PDF. Scroll through it, learn what the law says. Firm believer in the idea that if you know what the law says, you'll be a lot less likely to break the law. So with that being said, not just myself, but Puppy G, oh, hey baby, both OTAP and Puppy G, we're going to sign off now. Hope everyone has a fantabulous evening. Take care, fellow Americans.